After 20 seconds into your speech, I felt that there was not a reason to keep watching, as you stated a study that supports that violent video games do not, in fact, cause violent behavior. After watching the entirety of your argument, I'm unsure, first and foremost, why a ban is necessary, and secondly, I'm not sure what your claim supports, as the resolution was video games that glorify gun violence, not violent video games in general, which allows for more uncertainty whether or not your studies that you presented even support your resolution. In addition, all of the studies you quoted studied the behavior of children, not teenagers or adults or elderly people. As the definition of a ban is officially or legally prohibit, you are suggesting a ban of violent video games or video games glorifying gun violence, I'm still not sure which one, for everyone across the age and gender spectrum to be banned based off of evidence that violent video games make kids more aggressive during playtime immediately after playing those video games. I know from personal experience that directly after watching The Notebook, I'm more likely to cry for a couple of hours when I see something sad, but I don't think that I should be banned from watching chick flicks because of the emotional distress it puts me in right after. More than that, aggressive behavior is not only characteristic of kids who have played violent video games. Aggressive behavior is also linked to people who have ADD, ADHD, bipolar disorder, and schizophrenia, just to name a few. We have not tried to ban people being diagnosed as such because of it. Simply stating that aggressive behavior is bad and video games may or may not be a factor in children becoming aggressive when they play is not substantial enough to require a ban for all people of all ages. Taking the same research that you have used, I think a better alternative to the resolution you have presented is to require a ban for children of video games that glorify gun violence. This would take place by the people that sell video games and be applicable to anyone under the age of 18. As we know, bans that require children to have to plot to get something that they otherwise cannot attain themselves, like cigarettes, does greatly reduce the overall use in that product. But we also know that there will be people who, in spite of the ban, continue to get and play video games illegally. What this will do will allow for greater monitoring of the parents of the children, because the easiest way to attain a new video game would be to ask their parents to buy it for them. This would open up dialogue between the child and their parent about if the game is appropriate and why they are attracted to games with such graphic violence in them. With those precautions in place, the ways in which children look at violent video games will shift, and with that will come the realization that those games that glorify gun violence are not reality and should not be treated as such. As we know, school shootings have been a topic of much debate in this country, as in the past 22 years there have been 91 reported school shootings. There has also been an undeniable attraction to the most realistic, most graphic games out there, such as Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, and Battlefield. The problem with games such as these is not that it contains weapons and violence, but that it glorifies it. In an article coming off of ABC.com, Dr. Richard Besser talks with child psychologist Dr. Laura Davies. In his article titled "Do Video Games Cause Violence?" they look only at the effects of violent video games in children, not people of all ages. What Dr. Davies has to say about it is quite interesting, stating a huge part of discipline and development is understanding consequences, letting kids know that their actions have consequences. Video games like Grand Theft Auto turn the consequences into the positive. You kill a prostitute, you get points, you're rewarded. They're not affected by reading a violent book the same way they are from a video game that is visually violent and that they can participate in and that rewards them for the violent acts. The distinction between those who are still developing and those who are not is as important as it goes back to who should be included in this band. Children need to first be able to accept and respect the boundaries before they can engage in an alternate, realistic universe which the consequences and morals that they know are thrown out the window and can engage in otherwise inappropriate and dangerous behavior. In the same article, Dr. Besser talks with another doctor whose area of expertise is child development and is employed at Texas A&M University about the need for monitoring of children who do play such violent games. The resolution I suggested greatly increases the probability of that happening because there will be more need to monitor what your child is playing if in fact some games are illegal for them. The ban also allows for the parents to see if their child seems to be going out of their way to break the law. If a parent notices their child obsessing over being able to play a certain violent video game, it will pop up appropriately as a red flag for them and allow the parents to talk to their child about what they find so appealing about this game that they are willing to break the law.